Hey boys and girls, it's good to be with you again. I'm Miss Debbie. You've probably seen me here a few times and some of you have had me in your classroom. I just want to let you know we sure miss you guys and we're looking forward to when we can be with you in person again. But for today, we're going to talk about stories. Do you guys have favorite stories? I like Bible stories, but I like Beauty and the Beast and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Those are all really good stories. But some of the stories in the Bible are called parables, which means they're not literal stories, like it didn't necessarily happen, but it's a story that's going to teach us a moral or a lesson. And Jesus told a bunch of these in the Gospel of Matthew. Matthew is the first book of the New Testament, if some of you older kids want to go ahead and open there. We're going to be in Matthew 13 today. So what happened was there was a group of people, big multitude of people, and they were by the sea. So Jesus went into a boat and he sat down to teach, and the people all stood on the banks. And he said, I'm going to teach you some parables. And the disciples said, Lord, why are you going to teach in parables? And Jesus said something very interesting. He said, not everyone will understand the hidden truths about the kingdom of heaven. Just remind them about some of the words that Jesus reminded them about some of the words that the prophet Isaiah spoke, where he said, some people look, but they do not see. They hear, but they do not listen or understand. Understanding is kind of hard sometimes, but we'll get back to that in a minute. So Jesus told the disciples that you're blessed because you understand. And then he started speaking in parables. The first parable he told was about mustard seeds. Now, I don't know if you all can see those, but they're teeny, teeny, tiny little seeds. They're so small, I had to put them in a baggie so that you could see them. Well, that seed, Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that a man planted in his field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but it grows taller than the garden plants. It becomes a tree, and the birds come and build nests in it. And then he went on to talk about something else that's really tiny, and that's leaven. And Miss Debbie wanted to show you guys today what leaven is, because I know that's a hard one to understand. Leaven is like yeast. This is a yeast packet, and this is yeast. Look at how teeny tiny this is. It's so small, but a little tiny bit of this can go into bread and turn it from this to this, because it makes it fluffy. So Jesus said the kingdom in heaven is like leaven or yeast that a woman mixes into 50 pounds of flour, and the yeast makes the bread rise. So from flat to full. But those kind of hard to understand, like I said, especially if you don't know what yeast is or what the birds of the air is. So what I do when I don't understand something that's in the Bible is I pray about it, because Jesus told us when he left that he was sending a helper, and that helper is the Holy Spirit. So if you're reading the Bible, one of the parables or any other part of it, and you don't understand, you can stop and you can pray and you can ask Jesus to teach you, and he'll send the Holy Spirit to help you. Another good thing to do is to talk to your mom and dads or a teacher or pastor that you trust, and they'll help you understand and explain it. Sometimes it's even hard for us adults to understand. Then Jesus told another parable, and he said the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure. Like a treasure. Do you see this? A treasure. Now, a treasure is not always money, right? But for today, I'm just going to show you my treasure. This is my treasure box. He said it's like a treasure buried in a field that a man finds. And he goes out and he sells everything he can to buy that treasure, right? To buy that field hidden in that treasure. Jesus also said that the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of a fine pearl. Do you know what a pearl looks like? I didn't know if you would. Pearls look like this. These are pearls. And that's individual little pearls. And this says that he found a priceless pearl. A pearl that nobody There was no cost. It was considered priceless. And he went and sold everything to acquire that pearl. And when Jesus finished teaching all this, the crowd left and Jesus went into Nazareth. But what do you think? Why do you think Jesus was telling us about the parables of the kingdom of heaven? I was trying to understand that. And I think he was telling us that because in Colossians 1:13 it says, "He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins." So I think Jesus was telling these parables about the kingdom of heaven because he wants us to understand what that great treasure is, what that pearl of great price is. And that's Jesus and the relationship we can have with him. Now, Jesus said that not everyone would understand this. And like I said, it can be difficult, so we have to pray about it and we have to ask questions sometimes. But Miss Debbie wants to know if you understand what the kingdom of heaven is going to be. If you've accepted Jesus into your heart and you get to be with him one day. That's what I hope for you. If you have questions, you can always send me an email. I've put it out there several times. Or you can talk to your mom or your dad or any of your teachers. We love you and we want to share the kingdom of heaven with you.